to choose. So if we come back now to Bryn Mawr Foundation School. So over half term, you should have all received our options information booklet. Now, this was emailed out to pupils and to parents, and hopefully it just gives you a little bit more information about the different options choices. It talks through the core subjects, it talks through the compulsory subjects, and it talks through the option subjects as well. This provides just a little bit more information and detail for you. On the front of this information booklet as well, you also would have had an opening introduction from myself and also from Miss Griff, Head of Year 8, to the pupils, and all of us really just recognising that this is an important decision, but actually just to try and think as much as they can that this is just a decision for themselves. And that's something that we consistently say to the pupils, and I'm sure they would have heard this already from Miss Griff and from their form teachers and subject teachers, is that when they are choosing their options, it is so important that they're choosing them for themselves, not based on what their friends are choosing, not based on what their older brothers and sisters did, not based on whether or not they really like this teacher, but it's got to be about what they want and what they enjoy and what they're good at. So please do try and also spread that message to your children and pupils listening here today as well. Please think about you and what you enjoy and what you want to do, okay? Because this is about yourself. You know, these are subjects now that you're going to be in the lessons all the time. Now, as you know, we do it a 3-year GCSE, so it'd be for the next 3 years then you will be studying these option choices. So it's really important that you choose the right option for yourself moving forward. Now, if you haven't received an information booklet, then at the end of this session, if you just put your name in the chat, then we can make sure that you get an information booklet sent to you as well. Now, the other thing we've done as well is that the subject teachers at the moment for options have just finished recording videos, also giving more information based on their option choice. Now, ordinarily, this time last year, we had a session in the hall where we invited everybody to attend, and we had some teachers that would share their ideas and share their subject information, and also we had pupils talking about the subject information as well. And we also had a series of assemblies where subject teachers would talk to the pupils. So what we've tried to do really is to replicate that this year, and try to make sure that pupils in Year 8 aren't missing out and they're still getting exactly the same, if not more information than they would do. So the videos that are being completed now will be on the website, and as soon as they are available, I will let you know. And then you can go into each of the option choices and you can watch the videos and listen to the teachers talking about those different choices. Okay, so Key Stage 4. So you are now entering Key Stage 4 in Year 9. So before now, you've been studying Key Stage 3 curriculum in Year 7 and Year 8. And some schools do start their Key Stage 4 in Year 10, but many schools, like us, do really see the value in starting the Key Stage 4 curriculum in Year 9. Now, there are different arguments for both, most definitely, but I think it really gives pupils that ability to really enjoy and to develop their option subjects. Now, most pupils, as much as you maybe can't decide between a couple of different options, you know what you enjoy and you know what you don't enjoy. I know, talking to my daughter, one of them who is in Year 8, she's choosing her options now the year after, but she already knows really what she likes and what she doesn't like, and she would definitely be ready to choose her options now. And really what we're trying to do is to allow you to really develop and to enjoy the subjects that you know you want to continue in as much as possible. So it is important. And also as well, if you think now about, you know, the time we've had for the last year, isn't it? You know, we really need to have that time as well. You know, you've got now an extra year. It just means that there's no panic, there's no undue pressure really on you, and the fact that you can really explore the subject in as much detail as you want and trying to do the very best you can. Now, with Key Stage 4, we have a combination of GCSE subjects and BTECs as well, which are vocational qualifications, and these are available in different subjects available to you. So if you look at the options information booklet, it will give you more information on which of the subjects are BTEC and which subjects are GCSE. Also as well, we have level 2 qualifications, which are based at A* to C GCSE grades. And we have level 1 qualifications, which are D to G grades. Okay, so there are a range of different qualifications and subjects suited to each and every one of you. Now we have the core subjects. Now these are subjects that everybody has to carry on doing, okay? So you have English language and literature, you have mathematics and numeracy, and science and Welsh. So these subjects are subjects that you have to carry on with, okay? Even if you're sitting there thinking, well, I don't enjoy that subject, I'm really sorry, but you have to carry on with these subjects. These are your core subjects, okay, that you'll continue with throughout year 9, year 10 and year 11. You also have then the compulsory subjects, and these are the subjects listed here on this slide. So you've got Skills Challenge Certificate, Physical Education, Religious Studies and Business Enterprise. And again, these are subjects that everybody will do in year 9, year 10 and year 11. Now, some of them are more familiar to you than others, so PE and religious studies are more familiar to you, and the others are probably less familiar to you. But as I said, you have loads of information in the options booklet, and also Miss Thomas, who is the lead of that, has also put information for you together in the video that will be available in the website shortly. Now, the Skills Challenge Certificate. Now, this provides learners with opportunities to consolidate and develop those essential employability skills. Now, this helps you to prepare for the future, and it also enables you then to obtain your national grade A star to C. It consists of different challenges and individual projects, and it really does help children to prepare themselves for the future. Now, it fits in with the Welsh Baccalaureate, which you may have heard of as well. And as I said, more information on that, if you're not quite sure, is shared on the video that Miss Thomas is doing for you currently. Now, the focus of the Welsh Bac is to provide a vehicle for young people to consolidate and develop those employability skills. And together then, if you can see, the supporting qualifications include those core subjects that I mentioned earlier, plus a further 2 GCSEs. Now, these are the option subjects available to your children for this academic year, starting obviously, for next academic year in year 9. So these are the option subjects available to you. As you can see here now, they're all listed. So we've got geography, drama, construction, French, digital technology, which is ICT. So that's been renamed this year. The course has changed slightly, but when you see digital technology, that's what is ICT. We have COPE then, which is a BTEC qualification. We have product design, history, art, Spanish, employability and work skills, which is run by Military Prep. We have SWEET, which is a BTEC. We have graphic design, music, PE and sociology. Now, the reason there's an asterisk next to sociology is, if you've had a look at the options booklet, you might have seen this, is that it is a subject that requires quite a lot of writing. And so it's something that we really ask you to have a think about whether you think you would like to do that subject, that option choice. OK, so do think carefully, like you would for all of your subjects, as to what you think you are best suited to. Now, these are the subjects you'll be choosing from. You'll be choosing 3 option subjects plus a reserve as well. OK, so I'll talk more about that for you in a moment. This is an example here of a Key Stage 4 timetable. OK, so when you come to starting your GCSEs now next year, this year in September, get my dates right, sorry, this is what your timetable will look like, an example of it. OK, so as you can see here now, you have the core subjects there, English, maths, as you can see there, and science quite a number of times. You also then obviously have Welsh, you have your PE, and then you have your option subjects then as well listed. So this is roughly what your timetable will look like. Obviously it changes year on year, and obviously depending on how many, sometimes we have 4 maths and English sessions, for example, a week. Sometimes we have 5 a week. It really depends on staffing allocation and on what we need to do, obviously catching up now going forward with pupils that have been absent from school. So if you have a look here now, this is the timetable and roughly what it would look like for you. So what next now? So what we'd like you to do is to complete a free choice survey. Now, this is not your final option choice, okay? So as I said at the start of the presentation, this is not going to be your option choice that we're asking you to do here and now. But what we would like you to do is to try and complete for us a free choice survey, which basically is you identifying 3 subjects and a reserve subject choice that you think you might be leaning towards choosing at the moment. Now, this is not you putting pen to paper and saying, yes, I definitely want to do this. It's really giving us an idea for us to make sure that when we're creating the option blocks, we get them right as much as possible. Because what we want to try and make sure we're doing is we're trying to make sure that you are able to choose the options that you want. And that's not always possible. So it's not always possible for you to select for you to actually have the options you want, depending on a number of reasons. But if we can try and get a bit of a head start now for you to select what you're interested in, it will really help us now going forward. Now, there is sometimes a chance, as I said a moment ago, that we might be unable to provide your child with the options that you select. And this may be due to a number of reasons. It may be due to the fact that there's a really low level of uptake from pupils, which means the course may not be able to run. So, for example, you'll see we have 2 modern foreign languages on there at the moment. We have French and Spanish. It may be that if there's a very, very low number for one of those, one of them may not be able to run. It may be, for example, that staff of the subject feel that the subject would not be suitable for your child for a number of reasons as well. It may be that the subject your child wants to take might clash with another subject in another option block. So there's a lot of different reasons as to why sometimes it's not always possible. But from this year now that's just gone, there were a very, very small number of pupils who weren't able to take the choice they wanted to. And we do try as much as we can to work with you and to work with your children to make sure that their choices are available for them as much as possible. If for any reason that it's not possible, then we'll make sure then that we will obviously meet with your child to talk through with them to help them make that next decision they need to do. Okay, so just to let you know where we are at the moment. So what's going to happen next? So we're going to have a free choice survey. At the end of this session now, when we finished, there'll be a free choice survey that will be pasted in the chat for you, for your child to access and to try and complete that for us. A recording of this session then will also be emailed out to pupils and will be available on the website to watch again. Videos, as I said, from subject teachers will be available on the website this week, and as soon as they are ready then to go, I will let you know as well. We've also managed to put together some videos from our Year 9 and Year 10 pupils, and they put together just a video really talking about the option choices for them and how they find them and what they do in their lessons. So hopefully that might be interesting as well for you to have a look at that. But I really would urge the pupils to speak to older pupils in the school or to speak to brothers and sisters just to get their ideas about what the subjects really entail, because obviously some of the subjects are subjects they carry on with at the moment, history for example, but if it's a subject like construction or product design, it's a subject maybe that they haven't done much of before. So I think if they can talk to people that already do it, and I know the pupils that were involved in the video that we've completed, they're all more than happy to speak to anybody to answer any questions, okay? We've also asked the subject teachers to spend some time now talking through their options in their lessons, and I'm sure they may have already started that this week actually, just talking through the pupils, the different options and what they look like to them, so that would be useful. And I urge you as well, when you're in those lessons with those teachers, just to ask as many questions as you want, okay, because that's what they're there for, is to try and help you to make the decision for you. We're going to then share the option blocks with you, that hopefully they will be shared with you now at the beginning of next week. You've got Year 8 Parents' Evening, which is scheduled now for next Thursday, the 11th of March. And if you haven't already made your appointments, then I urge you to do so. They have been shared with you. If you haven't received any communication about the Parents' Evening, again, please let us know on the chat bar at the end of the session and we can try and make sure that you get that, okay? But it's a virtual Parents' Evening. We've got our first of these now this week with our Year 11, so it'll be the second one now next Thursday with yourselves. And it's an opportunity then again for you to speak to teachers, about how your child's getting on, but also as well, really choose carefully, the teachers that you would like to see. Try and base it as much as you can based around the options that they are considering taking next year, because that's your ideal opportunity then to speak to those teachers to say, do you think this is the right subject for my child? Do you think this is a subject that they would enjoy or they would be good at, and so on. Okay, so when you are selecting those appointments next week, as much as possible, do try and make sure that you make the appointments with the teachers that you know that your child might be considering taking that option choice with. Now, on returning to school, and at the moment, as you know, we haven't got a definite date about the return to school, but we anticipate it will be after the Easter holidays when Year 8 children will return to school. But when they do so, there'll be opportunities then to speak to the subject teachers face to face. And I know from myself when I'm teaching my classes now, you know, it's not always as easy as it when you're speaking online. And I think a lot of children prefer to speak to their teachers, you know, in person. So we will have that opportunity then when we come back to school for the children to speak to the subject teachers and to ask them some questions about the options. And that's why we've extended the deadline for the options to the 23rd of April, which gives pupils then real time to speak to their teachers, to really have a think about what their choices might be and to make sure they get as much advice and information as possible. Now, as well as speaking to their teachers when they return to school, obviously they can use that as an opportunity to speak to older pupils and also speak to Miss Griff, their head of year, as well. And if they've got any questions or concerns, they can obviously speak to any member of the leadership team as well if they wish to for more advice and information. So these are the dates now that I've just mentioned a moment ago. Okay, so 11th of March is the parents' evening. 12th of April then option forms to be distributed, and then the 23rd then for the deadline for the options to be submitted. We'll have some interviews. I say interviews sounds quite formal, but some chats and conversations in April, May, depending on how the option choices go. If we feel that we need to maybe speak to pupils about their option choices to help them if they're struggling a little bit to make them, and then we'll hope to get the confirmation of option choices out to you in May. Okay, so that's the deadline really, or the deadline, the agenda of where we are at the moment and where we're going. So what I'd like